we go. We're in progress and things are recording and so
Okay, and Taylor Litwin shows up on here, so we have a guest. So I'm gonna turn this around so that we can see.
okay, I can't. Taylor what?
Litwin, Litwin.
Litwin.
Yes.
Hi everyone. I'm with Friends of the Winooski. I'm just joining with Michelle.
Well, I know
excellent.
there are new people in town, and so I'm not gonna say, oh, she, I don't know her, cause you might live right by me and I didn't know. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad
No,
you're
I
here.
I live in Montpelier and I work with Michelle and my colleague Sam at Friends of the Winooski. But I was actually in Northfield today for a site visit to the Cowie removal site.
Where was she?
In Northfield, looking at the dam removal site, right?
Yes, correct. On Bull Run.
Oh, that,
Oh,
oh, yeah,
that-
yeah, yeah.
that one.
That dam removal. We have a dam that's gonna be removed this summer in downtown Northfield, so that's
Yes,
the one we think of first right now.
yes, Cross Brothers.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
What's the dam up on Bull Run?
Oh, that was removed a while, last year maybe? I remember hearing about it. I did not see it or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, that one was taken out by like 2020. And
Oh, long time ago.
but yeah, this stream looks amazing. I was just there and like
Yeah.
it's back to its kind of balanced state. So
Good.
yeah, and we're doing a smaller project to repair one of the tributaries that comes into Bull Run that now has a little bit of a head cut from the river shifting around after the dam was taken out. So we'll
Right.
be repairing that probably next year, but just
What's the name of that river? The Bull Run? No.
yeah,
What's the name of
it's called Bull Run and it flows into the Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Which,
It's on Bull Run Road, I would assume, right?
Yes. Yeah, and
Okay.
the best place to access it is from Woods Lodge. There's like a parking lot that's
Right.
Okay.
right there. You can walk down a little trail.
Good.
Okay.
Those are nice people too.
I'm just leaving my camera off because I'm making dinner, but I'm happy to
well,
be here.
the thing is that I was just saying to Del,
Delay.
I wanted to call you Del, and I can't. Delane. To Delane, I was saying to Delane, and I said earlier to Tim, I really feel bad that Michelle is coming. Last month we had quite a few people, and this month we aren't going to have very many people because there are kids who have to play their sports in between the raindrops, and their moms and dads need to be there. And then there's a garden that needs to be tilled, and somebody agreed to till it for somebody else today, not realizing. So the thought was he might be here, but probably not to count on it. And I promised him we wouldn't nominate him for everything, but I think we should.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
so
Here's
if
somebody.
Michelle is good, we're gonna have to take, yeah, hello.
Hi.
There she is.
Michelle.
So we're gonna have to take really, really, really good notes, Michelle, because I was just saying to Taylor, there's a whole bunch of people who came last month, but can't come this month because there's games that have to be watched by moms and dads, and there's gardens that have to be tilled for neighbors that they promised, blah, 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 and they have to do it while the time is still good. Who is that?
Somebody.
That's Taylor's, oh, no, it isn't. What does it say? Yes, sir.
NCDN, Carolyn Stevens.
Carolyn, yay, okay.
I didn't think I was going to be able to come, but
I
my
didn't
kids,
think so either, but I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'm here too. Our kids are all doing things together.
yes.
Well, I try to keep these as close to an hour as I possibly can. So we'll try
That's fine. They're busy.
Well, even when
It's
they get
not very
unbusy
often
and
we have all of them together.
Well, when they need you again, you should just drop off, but we'll try to get done in an hour or and 10 minutes at max. So-
I think Three Penny will keep them busy for that long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Three Penny is where they are? Oh, yeah, that'll,
Some of them are.
yeah. All right, so Carolyn is here, Taylor is here, Michelle is here, Delane is here, and Tim is here, and I'm here. So, I had to say that for the benefit of the recording. And, then we have, Michelle is gonna talk to us about her stuff. Michelle has told me before that there was some grant money available, and she got some, and unless Trump has clawed it all back, no,
Well, it did get frozen
it did.
for a little bit in February, but we have been assured that it has been reviewed at EPA and cleared in whatever system they're using and,
This week.
right. So we don't it's really hard to put a lot of stock in that reassurance, but it's what we have.
That's all we
Understood.
got.
It's
Understood,
better than
yeah.
nothing.
Yes, so we are proceeding. We had been worried about moving forward, but you can see the Wi-Fi. We had been worried about, spending time on these,
It's over there too on your right.
Oh, yeah, she's looking right behind you too. That's why I was trying to see what she was looking at.
so we've been assured that it's secure and we are gonna go forward on that basis. And we did, just on Monday, issue an RFP for a consultant to help us, to provide community outreach, and communications expertise, more than we have, internally. But a big part of the grant that we have is just to support our time to work with Northfield in whatever your goals are to connect the community with rivers.
Get out. That's a big part of your grant?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. We're very happy
Oh, my
to get
goodness.
all the assistance we
Yeah.
can get.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know you had asked about signs, and I
Yeah.
just want to quickly, I didn't have a chance earlier today. I think that we don't have anything in our budget that we could use to purchase signs, but we can help you all.
Ah, come on over.
Hey, Simon.
Simon Parrish has joined the meeting.
But we can help you all identify ways of doing that. We can work with you on planning.
You can work with us on signage.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't think we can buy signs. That's not in
No.
our budget.
No,
but
understood.
yeah.
Help us figure out what are good ways to use signs to communicate the nature of the project, and this is
Yeah.
what I'm
What-
checking if
what
my
you
imagining
wanna
matches.
Put
Yes,
on,
right.
yeah, what information do you want to communicate? What is the connection you're trying to make?
Well, I
Well-
know for one thing, we wanna have a sign, but we may get it from the state should give us something that will outline the pre-contact,
Oh, the
Artifacts.
archaeologically sensitive area?
Yes.
By Cross Brothers?
yes,
Yes,
Okay.
and we
And
want
the
that,
state is providing that?
no, I mean,
Okay.
we want that to happen.
Okay.
yes.
Well, that's one of the things that we want to have happen is that is identified for the public. That, one of the other things that we wanted to have happen is to have picnic tables that are handicapped accessible, because this is particularly the D section. but I think all of it is going to be handicapped
That is
accessible.
absolutely the goal, yes.
And so we wanna have at the terminus, down by the river there, we wanna have picnic tables that people can roll up to. And they don't have to sit on the end, they can sit in the middle.
So I'm not sure that that's gonna be possible just because it's in the floodway. Like, you probably can't put a picnic table in the floodway.
Okay.
Right,
Um,
okay, but where, how far
but-
back can we go and
Well,
get it?
I'd
far
have to
up?
look at the,
Right,
I have to
mean,
look at the plans.
I think that the way that the plans are drawn right now, what Pat Meehan designed, is, it looks to me like it's gonna be accessible at the top of the bank.
Yeah,
And then there's gonna be some trails that go down.
yeah,
And up at the top is where which will be near the archaeological site too,
yeah,
will be a place where there can be things like picnic tables and.
Perfect.
now the
And it
difference,
may not be possible for people in wheelchairs to get down to the river.
no, it may not,
I,
they
that's
need to
just
be able
physically-
It's
to
difficult.
sit and enjoy, and that needs to be,
yeah, which is a
we
big
need
step.
to have some kind of reception, you know?
Right.
People diddly diddly diddly, then when they get there's nothing there needs to be something there.
Right,
And,
A reception area, kind
Yeah.
of a little more formal.
yeah, and also benches
a
and
gathering place
gathering
might be a
place.
way to say it.
Now, the difficulty is, how do you do that without encouraging litter and vandalism?
Well, this was a question that came up when we were working on the design of Dog River Park.
Yeah.
And people were very concerned, like, what if we make this nice place and then people just trash it? Well, isn't that gonna be what happens? But at that point in time, there had been studies that showed that if you make a place nice, people don't trash it. And I think that's been the experience at Dog River Park. I don't think you,
With one exception. One exception is that there have been some play equipment that has been really roughly used by children,
okay,
so.
yeah.
That's better than terrorists.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't heard of any vandalism happening
No,
or,
have we? The only,
trash
well,
or-
there was an incident when we had the art. Remember when we had the art there for?
the story walk?
So,
or-
yeah, the Hate You Give,
No, it was a book group, meeting there and some high school kids, I don't know what.
it was high school kids
Made
art.
art about this book,
Yeah,
which was very strongly.
I know the book, yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, Simon
It was a
probably know it
Vermont
too,
Reads
right?
book.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wouldn't classify that as vandalism necessarily, as more of a, political statement.
Yes,
Huh.
I did wanna say about
Yeah.
my experience going to the Dog River Park is that it is generally in good condition. The one thing that we could improve on is, right now the trash can is just a large trash can, and it's very easy to put like a whole garbage bag in it.
Oh.
like from one's house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's always it's right inside the pavilion, and it's always full to the brim with dog poop.
Oh.
So it always smells like a rotting corpse
There you go.
inside the pavilion. And so one thing that we could improve on is, over at the depot, we have the smaller trash cans that hang from a post that's kind of away from the gathering spot, right? It's like, it's out near the street. It's not
Yeah.
in the place where you sit and have your picnic or whatever.
Smell.
And so, having it paired with the dog poop bag thing, like out
The
by.
dispenser, yeah.
Yes, and out by the accessible path where, somebody could come and use the accessible path and get a bag, use the bag for dog poop, maybe, and dispose of it,
Properly, maybe?
all accessible out there away from the picnic tables would be a benefit in that park, and
Yeah.
also,
We
That's
could
great
put
learning
these,
from
the
experience.
Butler too, there's a Butler, Buttler, for
For
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Yeah, we could put that
That's an
there too.
excellent idea.
So we'd have the bags, the poop receptacle, the Butler, yes,
I think the key is to have a smaller trash
yeah,
receptacle, or at least a smaller opening, and
Yeah.
more regular pickup.
yeah,
Always more regular pickup, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's responsible for the pickup?
town,
The town, okay.
Yeah.
I believe the highway crew
Okay.
tends to have that responsibility.
And
That's my guess.
I think the same thing has happened with filling up of trash cans up at Memorial Park.
Yeah, it's the same at the falls, ball fields as well.
Yeah.
In fact, the baseball club, they just started actually paying to have somebody come and get the trash.
Yeah.
that's a good solution.
But they're paying for it, the town isn't paying for it.
No, I understand. Who's talking there?
I think background.
You might wanna mute yourself.
Like, my thought is, I do wanna provide the standards, I have docs for both that I can.
Mary, can you mute her?
Job.
Yeah,
Can you mute her from there?
I can probably pull
And I'll just do a lineup of the
this
unit.
one right here.
It's just Janan.
Yeah, she must be in her hotel room.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Carolyn.
No, we were hearing Janan and her own help.
Oh, okay, is that it?
Carolyn was trying to help us. Yes.
Yeah, so so I think, we can remain optimistic about if we make it nice, people will keep it nice. Especially if you make it easy,
Yes.
for it to be kept nice.
There was writing on a picnic table. Another key to success there is that somebody noticed right away and it was dealt with right away, so.
Yes.
It wasn't like writing among other writing,
Yes.
Right.
it was just one thing and then it was dealt with.
Well, also, I think, having the Dog River Park Committee has been really valuable. I don't know if the Riverwalk Committee is gonna persist beyond the creation of the Riverwalk.
That hasn't been talked about that I know of, but that's where the Riverwalk Committee is gonna be in existence for a long time, given the duration, so. But I don't think that anyone has talked about this being us being a maintenance operation, so that's a good point.
I think there would be a lot of value in that. The Dog River Park Committee has made a management plan that I think is an excellent management plan and could be a model for other.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I really feel like it's probably the only reason that park is not overrun with knotweed.
Yeah,
Just because there's a group that comes there
Yes,
regularly.
and is
you've
on
been
it.
the head honcho of that, I know.
Yeah, it will always require somebody being there regularly
Yes.
to prevent this new place from becoming overrun with knotweed.
How often do y'all meet there or to clean up or whatever?
So it varies. That's the tricky part. It's hard to say what to do because like we thought we had it figured out and then the very next time it didn't work that way. Especially after a flood, it's good to go
Yes.
look.
Yeah.
But after one flood, it was really easy to get it all. And the second flood, it was like buried 6 inches under.
Oh, gosh.
So we didn't know until it started to pop up and then
And then it's harder.
much more difficult.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen in other cities where like there may be a road that a company's taken on,
Yes,
like this road maintained
Yes.
by
Adopted.
adopted by
Adopted.
whatever.
Yeah.
Is that something around here?
It's not, but I would love it if it were. I actually applied for a grant several years ago for a program that I called Adopt a Site to try to have established, essentially maintenance committees at different public sites. And I think that was a great idea. Yeah.
I believe they do that over in the valley.
In the Mad River Valley?
Yes.
and who adopts the sites, Carolyn?
Different people who live there or who walk in a particular place or just
So
people.
I could see Cabot Hosiery adopting a site. Maybe we should go talk to them about it first. Like, we're coming to talk to you first about it.
Yeah,
You're on the priority on the list.
Yeah, would you adopt us?
Well, who's in the Chouinard facility now?
Cardinal Point, he's a son, he's a stepson of Barry's.
oh, is it? Okay.
And his name is Jeremy something.
Do they have a bunch of
Jeremy
employees?
Brown. No, they
Jeremy
don't.
Brown.
Maybe 1 or 2 employees.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
they're very
okay.
small, they're very small. But, yeah, and more likely, we could have, this gets to something else too. We've talked about at the end, using crowdsourcing funding
Mm-hmm,
to get these amenities.
mm-hmm.
And so maybe crowdsourcing the tidiness of the thing, or maintenance, crowdsourcing the maintenance would be a good thing to do as well.
I think a key is to have a good mechanism for communication of problems.
Yeah.
You know, currently that falls on Jeff primarily, right?
Right,
So I've presented an idea about having somebody who's kind of overseeing parks and recreation, and we'll continue to present that idea, but you know, whether that idea or some other idea, having some mechanism where it's really easy for somebody to know who to write to or email or call when they notice that somebody has Sharpied a picnic table or
Right.
yeah.
that the trash can's full.
Cause y'all don't have a Parks and Rec
No.
kind of,
No,
do you
we
have a
don't.
recreation committee? There is a
No.
recreation
No,
committee?
there, at one time there was, but that dissolved a while ago.
Okay,
And so that's a missing piece. I see what you're saying.
I've written a job description for a Parks and Recreation Director position, but you know, funding is always the key. So
Where did you put that? Description?
I'm trying to put it around, and I'm coming into a summer, so you'll probably hear more from me, right?
Okay. Tell us some more of the kinds of things you thought you might do with Northfield in terms of its river.
well, so we worked with the Conservation Commission, in developing the proposal originally. And they, had asked us to work with them on, to do a workshop for them essentially on how they identify projects that would be good for the river and how they fund those projects. Sort of what are the steps of accomplishing projects that benefit the river from the point of identifying them, developing them, designing them, funding them, and so forth. And so we're going to do that, and we have not yet done that. And they did tell us about your effort to develop the Riverwalk. And we thought we could probably be of some use in that process,
Oh, yeah.
mainly with talking with you all about, you know, what are your priorities in, you know, I understand the physical concept of connecting the spaces, but sort of what kind of relationship are you trying to create between people and the river by creating the Riverwalk?
Well, I think it was, that's a very good question. I think that there's a lot of people in town who don't even know that the river is there. After
We hear
teenagers,
this a lot, actually, in
Oh, yeah.
a lot of communities.
yeah, after teenage years, people don't go to the river anymore. And they go to the river to swim because it's free and they don't have to swim they don't pay anything. And they also go because it's not as well supervised, so if they wanna smoke products of any kind, or vape, or drink beer, they can. And so one of my private priorities was to create more traffic by the river to reduce delinquency, frankly.
Increased safety perhaps is maybe a good way to.
Yes.
Why would I wanna say it any differently than what I said, what
Care about the children rather than blaming them.
Well, I don't want you doing a stupid thing, kid. Don't do a dumb one.
Cause you care about them,
Yes, yes. So,
And also
That
the
was
river's
one of the-
just beautiful. People like to look at the river.
yeah.
It's
Yes.
as
And then we
simple as
have-
that in many cases.
And then we
Yeah,
have
exactly.
this whole community of seniors with various mobility issues. And the idea was attractive to bring them to the river so that they'd have something that they could interact with and focus on. And
An incentive to get out of the house.
an
and
incentive to get
move
out.
around.
A place where they could go and contemplate, where they could, a more contemplative space than say the common, which is a livelier space, and the downtown, so, they'd have an alternative. They wanna go see a lot of people, they can go see a lot of people. If they wanted to just be contemplative, they could go by the river and sit and look at the river. So that was another thing that we had thought about, making attractive for them. Then there's a whole bunch of kids that I'm only just dimly aware of that use the river for science lessons.
Yeah, they do.
And, maybe you can speak to that better than I can.
I mean, I
Simon.
think maybe to sum up your point, having a space that is attractive to people of all generations, a space that, like the Dog River Park is a space that's attractive to everyone, but it feels like kind of you go there and you're there.
Yes.
Whereas a Riverwalk, that would just be one destination along a path, and so maybe, the activity of, I'm just walking down the path, you don't feel like you're committing to one spot.
No.
So you can just pass by people, and it's less of a like, oh, we're all gonna meet at this one place. It's more of a casual, I'm just going to be on the Riverwalk, and because of that, you would not feel like, at the Dog River Park, like you can go off to your corner, and when other people show up, they go find a different corner. On a Riverwalk, everyone's walking past each other and in closer contact with each other more casually.
And there's benches along the way for the ones who wanna sit and rest. That's important.
And so like if I have students out doing science, people
Yes.
look at us from a really, a distance, and they're like, we gotta stay away from them and not mess with them, right? Whereas on a Riverwalk, like, if I'm doing science on the walk, like people wouldn't stop and go the other way, they would just walk right through. So they would be in closer contact with whatever's happening on the walk.
Yeah, and so, in that context, I wanted to mention that this year, as in previous years, there are middle school kids who are doing river projects. I know that Leslie Strebe is running one, she would come today, but she was one of the people who had another thing she had to do. She had to start painting, cause they're painting a wall, very similar to this wall, which might be the next thing they do. Down at the community room, they're doing a mural, and she was setting that up.
Cool.
So that's for something called YES,
Yeah. I know,
Year-end
Yeah.
study, yep.
year-end study, that's what YES means, I didn't know that.
That's how the pollinator garden happened at Dog River Park. It was a YES project.
Yeah,
Really?
okay,
Cool.
okay.
This is where they get out of the classroom and do things in the community.
Yeah,
Can I interject something, since we're talking about science?
yeah.
Mary,
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
I
is
was,
Is that what you're,
yeah,
okay.
go ahead, tell them.
Okay, her email, she was not able to attend tonight because she's at a high school lacrosse game. I thought you could consider sharing with Michelle Braun. Her son's science teacher is gearing up to do their final project, and it's something regarding the health and condition of the Dog River. He's a freshman. Is the project on your radar? She wanted to know.
No.
Perhaps in the future we could consider collaborating with the science teachers at the school to get them information on the projects.
Yeah,
And she gave the name of the science teacher, and I wrote to him,
Sam Hekla?
yeah.
Okay.
And he didn't respond to me, but I don't know if I had the right email or
well,
anything.
teachers are so busy.
Yeah, this is a busy time, yeah. So I know that Ragnar did something with you, Simon, quite a while ago.
Yeah, I've interacted with high school and middle school in a couple of ways. Nothing too permanent.
But maybe we could make it permanent.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have annual
Mhm.
something.
Well, so one thing that we have talked about in this, in this project actually is, their Trout Unlimited has a program called Trout in the Classroom where the school kids raise little trout and they release them, nowish, maybe?
I hear about fish being released in the springtime, I don't know any specifics.
Yeah, and the Jeremy Whalen, who
Mhm.
works for Vermont Fish and Wildlife, is on the Conservation Commission.
Yep.
Brought that up and we're definitely interested in helping to organize something where we have like an open house at the school where the kids can show their trout that they're raising, and we can also talk about that in connection with the Cross Brothers Dam removal and how that's gonna help the trout and sort of the bigger picture of river health and habitat and so forth.
So that might be in the
So,
fall that
that-
we would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know,
Well-
wouldn't have baby trout in the fall.
Yeah,
Right,
this is,
the timing is a little funky, so.
But we're starting to talk about things, dreams for this. Not that everything's gonna happen in the first 6 months of first year.
Right,
especially since we're talking before the dam gets removed and the
right,
walk gets done. I had
Right.
one small question.
yeah,
I have heard from fishermen that the Dog River is one of the few places where trout are not stocked in Vermont.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, you would know more than I do. I wonder, is there any concern about the trout in the schools, fish being
Oh,
released?
I think that the
I-
program
this is just
coordinates with
theoretical in
Vermont
my
Fish
mind.
and Wildlife,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna screw up a unique feature of the Dog River.
Right.
Which brings people,
Well, the Trout Unlimited organization is called Mad Dog,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Mad Dog.
that's the local chapter, yeah.
Yes, and so one of their rivers is Mad and the other one
No,
is
yeah,
the
yeah,
dog.
I know they're, right, they're certainly,
Yeah, well, they rent from the Grange Hall,
right,
so
right.
that's why I know them and I know who's in charge there, so we
Yeah,
could talk
channel
to them, it's
communication.
somebody we should definitely talk to.
Well, they're having a big event here on, I wanna say October 18th, I can double check that.
18 October,
I think on the Common.
yeah,
Yes, it sounds,
Sounds right, yeah.
is that Mad Dog Trout Unlimited to
It's
you?
it's Dog River Day.
Oh, Dog River Day, okay, yeah,
yeah,
Rob.
Yeah, it's only
Rob-
18. Village Green.
yeah, Taylor's got it, the 18th on the
Good.
Village Green.
And what is happening then?
Well,
Dog River Day,
Dog River Day.
and
as opposed to Three Dog Night.
Okay.
Dog River Day, overview of the event. The goal of the event is to highlight the beauty, charms, angling opportunities, and recreational attributes of the Dog River, as well as present threats and risks to the river, and what it means to live with the river. The trout population has really declined in the Dog River since
Really?
the 90s.
Yes, it has.
And it may be related to flooding, but there's other, everyone who works on the river is trying to work on figuring it out.
Mhm.
So it's an afternoon to celebrate the dogs and its attributes, to educate local riparian landowners about how rivers behave and how to protect their property and so forth. They're interactive, they want to have interactive displays and activities. They have sort of an outline. You can arrive at 11 o'clock to set up. I don't think there's necessarily a single organized agenda. I think it's more of a fair.
It's kind of a
Tables.
fair, and this is being sponsored by Mad Dog Trout Unlimited?
Inspired by
Yeah,
Mad Dog
Organized by
Unlimited.
Is it
Yeah.
organized?
what day of the week is
Yeah.
that?
I think it's a Saturday.
Saturday.
I think so.
That's up to you.
Good.
Mhm. And I'm intrigued by the word workshops, and I'm wondering,
Yeah, so we can make a workshop if you.
what would we make a workshop about?
Well, for instance, we could have this idea of well, so I'm coming late to your Riverwalk process, right?
No,
But-
you're not.
No.
No, you're not, because I'll explain in a minute.
I don't know what you have already done in terms of like public engagement. But
No.
if you wanted to do kind of a public visioning thing where you invite people to come and do a practice walk and say, you know, what do you enjoy about this, and have them provide some ideas for what would make it nice for them and.
Yeah, maybe just like one of the segments of it that's already walkable.
Janan, are you listening to this? Janan Ham,
We muted her.
yeah, I know, but she hasn't appeared either, so.
I can
I think
call her.
I think she has some obligations. She's in New York.
Yeah, right.
Let me text her.
The reason I'm bringing it up is that she had volunteered to take people on walks to show them the path. So
Okay.
she might be interested in talking to you about the organization, about that.
I'm sure she would be very interested.
Right,
Because that could work in very well to the.
right.
Does that seem like it would be useful?
Oh, my God, yeah, it's on
Absolutely.
it's on the agenda, just about.
We kind of talked about it last time,
Mhm.
about taking people along the route.
It is, no, yeah, we haven't talked, it didn't schedule it on the old business, but we talked about it last time, and we talked about routes, and we need some help, we need some guides, that's what we need, is guides, because we need to, we're gonna talk about routes too.
Wasn't the question though, whether we would actually have access to go on that Riverwalk while there was construction going on?
Yeah, right, in this construction period, absolutely.
So the construction for the dam wouldn't begin until August.
Okay, that's
July or
important
August,
to know.
June.
August for sure, cause there's a bat situation. But,
A bad situation.
That,
Under the bridge.
the bridge,
no, in the trees
Huh.
and,
we don't
US
want to
Fish and
discourage the bats.
No, US Fish and Wildlife has made new guidance on bats, where if there is a known population of endangered bats within, I think it might be 5 miles, then you can't make noise over 100 decibels, over 85 decibels? It might be over 85
That
decibels.
sounds plausible to me.
Within 300 meters of bat habitat or something like that. And that's new this year, I think. It might have come into play last fall, but it was after projects were already going. So it's affecting projects this year. And I told Karina actually that I would ask you all if the Amtrak train, when it comes through town, is it blowing its horn as it comes
Yes.
through
Oh,
town?
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
to warn all, at all the crossings, yes.
Okay, so
Also,
that,
there's the Labor Day celebration, which can get quite noisy at times.
Do you
I'm
know
just
where
saying.
the bat population is supposed to be that,
well, the whole hillside is forested,
yeah,
and
right.
so they could well be living,
Yeah, I can imagine all of that.
Yeah,
I'm just, I
yeah.
was just, I hadn't heard anything about a bat population till you just mentioned this, so I'm just intrigued.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know whether they have actually been observed
Yeah,
locally,
or
but,
this is hypothetical kind of.
yeah,
Well, I mean, bats do like mosquitoes and mosquitoes like rivers, so I can
Yeah.
imagine that the
exactly,
river could be a place where they would be coming.
exactly, and so,
The
It-
construction will be daytime and,
well,
Michelle,
so
does
it
this
reduces
regulation,
That's nap time.
it reduces the construction window to between August 15th and September 30th.
Why is that?
Because if you can't make that noise before August 15th, because this is horrifying and sad, but it will scare the parent bats away from their nests and they will abandon their babies.
who
So,
will starve, right?
Well, we can't do that.
exactly.
does this regulation apply to just extended noise periods, or if there were a single train blast or something, a single
Right,
event, would that make a
we're
difference?
we're still trying to figure it out, honestly.
They're probably attenuated to the train.
Well, yeah, I don't
Similarly.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're used to it or not, and
As they were getting ready to have babies, they found out about the train.
Every day.
they chose a
And they
different
were-
place.
Well, maybe not. Maybe they were like, yeah, okay. It happens every day about the same time.
Right,
We can deal with
Built it
that.
into their routine.
But
but a hammer.
We put on our little bat earmuffs
And block it out.
10:30 in the morning and 7:30 in the evening.
So anyway, Karina is still working her way through permitting on Cross Brothers. And, but I do feel confident saying that it won't be under construction
She's
until
still
August.
working on
That's
the,
news
on the
to us.
permitting?
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting?
Well,
Yeah,
You should talk about
no,
what Tom
cause I'm
Davis-
gonna, just let it keep going and then I'll bring it all up. Yeah. Okay.
this is quite a wrinkle.
So we should be able to do a Riverwalk in July, I would think, or next year after the dam is
Oh, for sure.
out, or in the fall in conjunction with the trout in the classroom thing, or the dog, it could be part of the Dog River Day.
Yes.
Okay, so
Janae's
we,
back. Can you hear us, Janine?
Yes, I can. So sorry. That was my principal. He wasn't available today, so he got priority. I walked back into the middle of this and I had done a little bit of thinking about like ways to kind of dry run, like what a walk could look like. And like, I've talked to people about like, oh, maybe lead a walk and do a river walk. And they're like, oh, I don't know anything. But I bet if I had a map and I had a little script to go with that, I bet that like there are people that want to walk on the weekends. And I think we could get people out there to just learn more and to learn what people know and to create kind of a little, wouldn't have to be a big formal thing. I did pick some dates. And so we'll have a week back and not be on the ocean, so I could do some stuff this summer. July feels better for me than, so that actually works for me. But I did want to find out where things were and find out exactly what it would make sense to like put on the little walk and like try to produce a little, map that I could just print out and hand out to people and have a little QR code that would say,
up with that.
I'm hearing, yep.
Yeah, she's listening to you and writing it down furiously.
Janine, did you hear the part about the bats?
bats. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It sounds good to me because I wasn't here.
Bats
I
are a
did hear
good
about
thing.
that.
We love bats. But they may, limit the, time of work on the dam removal project.
To August 15th to September 30th is what Michelle just told us, Janine. So,
What if they go later than September 30th?
Well, then we run into the problem of the trout, because the, Fish and Wildlife were not allowed to work in the river after October 1st because of,
Okay.
trout spawning.
Okay,
So
that's important to know. I just wanted to
we're
know.
really.
That's part of your guided walk right there. That little bit of information is so interesting to me.
yeah,
You
I
know,
just feel like
The thing is
stuff
that it
like
would-
that is so cool. You just don't know when you drive by it.
you
And
don't
Yes.
know.
yes.
I almost feel like it's like when there's a little, like my brother-in-law is coming from Germany. We have to go to Provincetown and take him out on a whale watch on our boat. But other than that, I really don't have hard and fast, other than a haircut now and then, and I can move that. So I can shift times and later is fine. Like, let's get our dates in there and I'll tell my principal he gets dates around the Riverwalk this fall. This conversation, so.
Good,
But I
good
would love
priorities.
to once maybe sit down and like, I'll try to grab the minutes and then write down all the notes and just like write a little proposal, maybe, Michelle, is that what
Yeah.
to do? I would need input from Pat, me and but not until we know what is what, but I just want a decent looking map to work with. And then I'll figure out the logistics of getting it on a nice piece of paper and something that can be hung up downtown with a QR code and, so that people just do them more informally and not have a big deal and have it be a learning curve. So,
Yeah, and Taylor can help with the, outreach as well. She's really good at that, promotion and so forth, so.
I think like for me, that's what I'm interested in learning. I can do stuff, not my teacher and engineer. Like I can do stuff, not like a communications expert. So if somebody wants to give me guidance and say, you should do this, I will go, okay, and I'll go do it. So,
Geez, Michelle, that dovetails pretty nicely with what you said that Friends of Winooski was getting grant money for.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah. I think we can help with that.
Yeah.
How much money did you get?
Quite a bit. But it's for 3 years for 3 municipalities.
3 years.
Yeah.
Is there any
Um,
chance that it would help support the construction of a pergola or shelter up there at the top?
No, not as such. Like we don't have funding in here for building things, but or even really buying things. We
You
don't
couldn't
have
even do signs.
much in the way of materials budget. But at any rate, the grant goes through 2027, and it provides, it's $128,000 divided among 3 communities, so whatever,
Divided by 3 years?
Yeah, 40,000 per community if it's
roughly, yeah,
roughly, and it may not be equal slices, but that's a very quick math.
right.
And then that's further divided by 3 years.
Right, and it's further divided by, about 1/3 of that is our staff time, and about 2/3 is a consultant's time.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that means you're
So-
gonna be around for ongoing and can work with us and including Janine.
Yeah.
Who's interested in doing this stuff, and because things will develop. Janine, what you said made a lot of sense to me, not make this be a one-time, well, we're gonna tell you all about this, but, be on the learning curve, I think was the phrase you used.
yeah. I just think that like my engineering brain, my educational brain gets like, yay, this is so exciting. We can teach lots of people things. things and learn about the town and learn about nature and, promote you to this path. But my engineering self says, but there's some practical things that you will bump into, the first few times you go out and doing logistics. I'm thrilled to hear that Taylor has a skill set that I don't have. I'd like to learn and figure out how to do that. But yeah, just like I'd love to do a few different times and trial runs and see if I could get some of the
Yeah.
walking interested in like picking it up so it could happen more frequently. So yeah, all of that sounds exciting.
Well, one of the other things I was thinking of is, we could have some kind of, theme of, bird watching. There's a lot of bird watchers around here.
Yes, good point,
And
good idea.
bird watching, along the dog.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bird watching along the dog, and you are on that group of people that does the Christmas bird
I
count.
follow Carl Pinkham,
Yeah,
and our group is known as the Great Blue Heron Group.
Oh, great.
Because he's seen 2 great blue herons on the Christmas bird count in the Dog River,
Neat.
including one time when I was with him, so I know he's talking, it actually happened, it was not just a.
so that's one
Yes,
theme,
yeah,
and
that's
another
a great
theme I
idea.
thought of is that there are at least 2 women that I know one is Rebecca Parrish, and the other one is Kara Gauthier, and they've done a lot of programming with kids
Yep.
and,
Great.
and the environment. And so there are, you said you can't purchase much of anything.
That's correct. But we can do, what we can do is we can help you work through the process of what it is that you want to achieve with the Riverwalk. And we can help you identify and pursue funding to support it.
So that's what we
So-
need with this visioning event, a visioning event that would, what do you wanna do? But first we have to establish that we're going to have it. Right now, the only part of it that we're going to have is the D section. That's the only part we know for
That's the
sure.
part by Dollar General.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we've been,
The part that gets from Dog River Park around to Main Street is the trickier part.
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
correct,
yes.
that's
Cause
absolutely
it's,
correct.
there's a very narrow shoulder and then you go on the pedestrian bridge and then you've got the privacy issues around the senior housing.
Yes,
And then you've got sort of an industrial parking situation that's,
well, and we can't cross the railroad by the river. So,
right.
do you have that plan?
I do
Oh,
have
you
that.
have to come back around by the
Yes, but-
bank.
This
and-
is the plan
Well,
that was done
we would-
by the visioning people. Now I wanna make sure that it's not exactly our plan. This is the plan that, they were called transportation oriented design.
Community vision.
Yeah, so what we're doing now is talking about 5A. But
The agenda.
we're messing up the agenda.
Sorry.
That's okay, but there, you can see on that page right there, you can see there you go.
The
That-
the original proposed route went from the pedestrian bridge
It's this blue.
around
All the way
overlooking the river
And
to the railroad.
Right,
Too bad, huh?
because you can't cross the railroad.
the railroad is very adamant about not allowing any official crossing. The other thing is that the section between the railroad and Main Street is very difficult logistically because there's big dips, there are stormwater ponds, retaining structures there and stuff. So that which would be section C, looks very difficult to us.
Well,
But there's this
unless we
incredible
get,
area.
unless we got $1 million in unrestricted funds, we're kind of putting that off and saying, let's bring that trail around in front of the businesses on the common.
Right.
And come across the common and then across the bridge on Main Street and cross
Yeah.
over to section
What
D.
if, and you don't wanna follow this where it says cross block pedestrian alley?
Yeah, there is an illegal crossing of the railroad
between,
Yes,
over by Fernandez Hardware Store. If you're
Yeah.
familiar, I know you've been a Northfield person, so you know Fernandez.
Yeah.
But we can't put that as an official route.
but I mean,
There's,
could you follow this
Current
path?
walking path.
It takes you away from the river, but
That's the
but
point.
it does get
You could,
shorten
sure,
the
you
trip.
could
And people
shorten the
will do
trip,
that.
and people will do that.
but
Right.
what we're trying to construct is the
river.
river-oriented path,
Right.
is my,
Yeah.
that's my take on it,
A river-oriented path.
on the route.
Can I ask you about a section?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the, that is part of what was, no, sorry, crossing the river here. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's easy.
Wall Street,
That's Wall Street, yeah.
right? This right here
Yeah.
between Wall Street and the
Yep,
walking bridge.
yep, you've got Union, but.
This right here, this
Yeah.
restored area,
Yeah,
the floodway, right? Is that out, in your opinion?
no,
Yeah, I'm just,
it's just steep, and so I'm not,
there's a
like,
part at the top.
I remember Carolyn, you helped plant trees on that, the area along, Water Street, that's quite steep,
Our
behind the
goal,
senior.
our goal is to make it as effectively universally accessible, which would
Yeah.
mean we couldn't go down there.
Right, but
But
I
we
also, I just don't know that there's enough space at the top. There is a guardrail there, and you probably have to talk to the town about, like, if there wasn't a guardrail, could
That's on the
they?
opposite side of the river, isn't it, from where the
Yeah.
Riverwalk goes?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but Simon was just asking about going on that side.
Oh,
No, we're not, no.
There is still the possibility of going between the senior apartments and the river.
right.
We're going behind the senior apartments.
We were not, we have never been talking about any of the path being on that side.
But Simon was just wondering about it, cause it gets you
Yeah.
farther from the senior housing complex and
Yeah.
is also along the river.
Fixes that.
But the
Yeah,
senior
that becomes
housing,
a problem.
senior housing complex is where the people are that we want to have.
That you
Right.
wanna
It's
provide
like-
access.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's put it further away from them,
Right.
so that they won't be bothered by it. No, we want them to be there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, maybe taking a walk down there would be really helpful.
Yeah, and the other thought was, it's practically axiomatic to this whole project, is that we get the D section done and it's so neat that then they wanna have the rest of it. Then we can do A, B, and then we can grit our teeth and do C.
someday, right. Yeah.
But D was happening anyway.
Yes.
So why can't we did
Take
D.
advantage,
Well, we
absolutely.
thought,
we're
you
doing.
think it would be,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easy to say that, and then it was really, it's been tricky.
Sure, there's more to it
So,
when
if-
you start digging into it.
If we can talk about some of the other things, like what's then you insert when you see the possibilities that we could do with you.
Okay.
So I found out, Jeff was supposed to be here tonight to talk about the status of the Dollar General land transfer, but he's not here and he can't. So, according to Tom, so that now we are on, first we have to do the approval of minutes, I'm sorry. Does anybody have, has anybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
I read them
looked-
twice and I didn't see any errors at all.
And I looked at the minutes online.
Only thing, like, I know Tim was building his own one picnic table, right?
Yeah, I'm working on that.
And it
Yeah.
said, there's a place where it said you're building tables. I don't know if that would be a
This is
big
a-
deal or not.
Yeah, I'm working on a prototype base that we would then, our group's plan is to try to organize a community building of these accessible tables that could be used at various places. And I don't think we actually had the Riverwalk on our list, Elaine, but that would just add another
That's
one, you know,
true.
it might be, we might be getting closer to 10 instead of 8. Yeah.
So, okay, Tim's building
Okay.
wheelchair accessible picnic tables that could be placed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything else.
Yeah, great,
No,
I didn't look at it at all.
editing or it all made
Yeah.
sense. I read it twice.
good.
Good on you.
Okay, I move that we accept the minutes as corrected by Delaney.
Well,
Do you have a
I'll
second?
second it, yeah. I appreciate the fact that they're presented because it I forget things over the, from a month or when it was occurred.
Yeah, our other communities might be really interested in that too. I feel like that's an amenity that.
Yeah, well, we'll see when you see it. It's- I don't want,
Might have broad
people should,
appeal.
yeah, oh, I think it's, but it's my design and I think it's good. But I gotta see it in the flesh before I show anybody else really.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes, and is there any objection? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Abstaining? It's 500. It is,
Yes.
500.
Yes.
And nobody voted over there, but they don't do that, I don't think.
They haven't read the
They
meeting.
haven't read the minutes, so they don't know. You can go read the minutes online, That's what I did. And, so according to, Tom called me just before we came here tonight, and he said, in terms of the transfer of the land from Dollar General to the town, Bill Smith has prepared the deeds. And Dollar General has said that they're so backed up, they can't act on it until June, which is coming right up in bureaucratic time. That means
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. So it'll probably be done by the end of June, in which case then, I don't know, I think that the part that I wanted to speak about that is of interest is that Tom said the request for proposals has already gone out, and that some of the bids have come back
For,
that
dam
work
removal.
on the dam. That's what I just said.
Well, when we did the minutes last time, they said that Jeff said he was gonna send out the bids in May. And for the work to begin in July, and then the bat situation occurred.
Yeah, which I don't know if that was included in the bid package.
Is that the contract that we're talking about? Is the dam removal the contract that he
Yes.
did that for?
Yes,
So I would suggest that,
well, we also have a dam out to bid that we don't have all the permits for. It's not unusual, especially at this point in the season.
okay,
But
So how much is missing for that? I mean, a great deal? Permit wise, not sure.
Oh,
well, we don't,
know, we don't know.
we don't have the property transferred on which this construction will take place. But we have a time when the decision will be made. We don't, of course, know exactly what that decision will be.
And
Guarantee that.
another wrinkle is that the Utilities Commission is the people who make the final decision. They sign the contract is with the Utilities Commission, and nobody from there is here. So,
It's a lot of missing parts.
a lot of missing parts.
Okay.
not for the, how is the utility commission involved in the dam?
I have no
removal?
idea.
Well, the place where I would see the Utilities Commission is involved is not with this project, but with the Main Street Bridge project, where they are rerouting the utilities that currently, I think, go under the bridge. And are, so I also question whether the Utilities Commission, I can't quite see the official role of the Utilities
I
Commission.
can't either,
Yeah.
unless it's because the dam was at one time had something to do with producing electricity, I don't know.
Oof.
I'm sure the right people will sign the right contract when it comes.
Yeah.
But I just,
Sounds like there's a
it's
whole.
just a lot of plates in the air still,
Yes.
so,
Well, and the
and
bats,
now we know that
the
the
bats are
feds have
spinning
said,
another plate.
the feds have
Which
said,
changes
we aren't
the-
doing
That's
anything.
part of the, yeah.
The
Army
bat said we
Corps
aren't
permit.
doing anything until August, and the fish said we aren't doing anything after October 1st, so that's that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that that's that. Then scheduling the displays around town. I have, tomorrow is the next community dinner. And we have a display that has been up at, it's not here and you can't look at it. But it's at the Brown Public Library and you can go look at it there.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it is outside the,
Oh, yeah, it's in the
so
hallway.
in the hallway.
Yeah,
If you want to look at it, it's
You
out
got it.
in the hallway, yeah.
You may well, have you seen, this is the rendering that was done
You
by
wanna
Pat
bring it?
Meehan.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Yes, yeah,
She's
it's
gonna
great
bring
to,
it.
it's really nice to do have a
So-
rendering.
Mel Adams, I had communication with Mel Adams and the community dinners are at the Methodist Church, which is kind of cattywampus from the library. And we could just take the tripod from the library over to the community dinner and
Great
people
idea.
could look at it. But I need somebody to do that.
What is the community dinner?
Well, once a month, this town has a dinner.
Oh.
And it's always at the Methodist Church, but it's different organizations that cook it.
Okay.
And it's different
Twice a
food.
month.
Twice a month
Is it
even.
twice a month now?
Wow.
It is twice a month now. The Methodists cook, the Episcopalian, the United Church do other tasks, and other churches bring dessert.
Wow, okay.
So this is. and
It's
this is-
a church collaboration.
I need help.
It's
Yes.
a church collaboration.
Right, and this is a free meal, so it's designed,
And the whole community is invited to attend.
yeah,
You know, it's not just for church people, it's not just for street people, it's not just for anybody. It's for everybody.
And is it well attended?
I don't know, I've never been, so.
It's usually fairly well attended. They don't charge anything. It's free,
Yeah.
but they do have a donation box to,
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
for people who want to contribute to the cost.
right,
I think somebody told me that last month they had 45 people. So, that's 45 people that probably don't get to see it elsewhere.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up, Mary, is that not too long ago, maybe a month and a half ago, somebody argued with me vigorously
Oh,
about that rendering. She said that we can't have Adirondack chairs and swing sets down by the river in the floodplain. And I said, I know that. That's true. And they're not there. But in the rendering, she looked at that and she saw them as being down by the river instead of up on the flat part.
yeah,
So I think
Yeah.
that's just a risk that we have to be aware that some people look at that rendering and see something very different.
yeah.
right. Yeah, well, and this will be a great thing, Janann, for you to point out when people walk, actually see the, you know, ground truthing the plan is an important part of any project.
Yeah.
So, but I need somebody, and I can't do it because I had a pacemaker installed a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm not supposed to lift stuff heavier than 10 pounds, so I can't move these things, but somebody's gotta move them tomorrow to the Methodist Church. So,
What time, okay, I missed out what was going on while I was walking in the hallway.
Yeah.
So when does it need to be taken there?
I don't think there's any specific time in the afternoon.
Okay.
They have to serve dinner, and he said we couldn't take up a space bigger than a 6-foot table. And I was like, well, no, it's not that kind of a display, so I think those two things would be fine, just to put them up there.
I can do
and
that,
let
it's no
people look
problem.
at them.
You can
That's
tell
great,
me,
Delane.
so I met Mel Adams before,
Oh, good.
Methodist Church.
Yeah,
Okay,
You
and
know which one
then,
that is?
yeah,
Yeah, sort of across from the post office.
yes. And then should I email, I don't know that I have his email, but how do I know what time to take him there?
Well, I guess we'll have to, I can give you his email,
Okay.
and I can email him tonight, and you can email him tomorrow, or tonight too.
Why don't you email him and CC Delane?
Perfect. Okay, perfect. And then I wanna interject something too about the senior
Thank you,
center.
Delane. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Delane. The senior center they don't want anything until after 5/27, because
Right.
they're having a
Tax
sale,
yeah.
tag sale. So after 5/27, and the person to contact is Susan Boyd. So we don't have, they were just delighted that I asked.
Oh, you asked too? Mary, Nate, and Scott called him yesterday and talked to Susan as well, so.
No, I asked Mary to ask.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
Mary reported back they were delighted to be involved in this thing. I don't think they quite understand that they're critical to the success of this thing, at this point, but
Mary,
maybe
did
they,
they say
yeah.
for sure that you couldn't bring that till after May 27th? Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be, if there was some place to put it in there inside, even if it were in the entryway, wouldn't it be nice to have it there while there are people coming and going, shopping?
Oh, that would certainly be true.
But that, evidently, that's not how the
They
senior
don't think
center.
they have a lot of room, and they don't want you in the entryway, I don't think.
You'll have to buy something big and then you'll make space.
Well, I wonder, I mean, because those can be taped on the wall.
Well, that's what Patrick said,
Yeah.
that we could put these things on the wall.
I don't think there's a lot of extra wall space, and I can imagine with the tag sale there could be a lot of
Yeah,
crap, to use a technical term, that they need to find space for.
true.
I think it has to be, we have to honor them.
Yeah.
Of
I
course.
think we have to honor them, Carolyn, and just do it when they say so, which is after the 27th.
Yeah.
So, and I think we
I
just need
wasn't
somebody
suggesting we sneak it in.
You were suggesting that, or you weren't?
No, I was not suggesting that.
All right, please return to Carolyn Stevens, how about that?
Yeah, we
Let's
can
sneak
put
him
that
in.
on there. So again, somebody has to sort of take charge of doing this.
Well, we can do that, I can do the easels, so if I take them to the Methodist church tomorrow, then I pick them up,
Yeah. But
Following
why,
day?
you wanna do, yeah,
okay?
I think that's up to
Confirm that
Mel.
with Mel, but
Yeah,
Okay,
confirm that with Mel, but I think,
when it works for both of you.
yeah.
okay, and then the 27th is on,
That's it.
Well, I just, the weekend is when they have the deal, they have to
Right.
clean up.
okay.
So I gave him a day, and then I said, so after the 27th.
Well, would it be possible for me to keep them over the weekend, just put them in my
Oh, for sure.
garage?
Yeah.
And then I'll bring them back to the senior center on the 27th?
Right, I mean, no one's gonna come into the municipal building over the Memorial Day weekend to look at it.
True,
So,
okay,
I think it's
perfect,
safe
okay.
to-
Well, then
Well,
I'll do that.
do you wanna take them from the municipal building, or do you wanna take them from the library?
Only thing I saw that they wanted it for the municipal building was paying, when it was tax paying time, but
Yeah.
that's already passed.
Yes, it has, yeah.
So I can take them from here,
You
because
can
this
put them
building,
tonight in the back of your car.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
As
fine.
well. Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow and then
Okay.
to senior
And
center.
kudos to Pat for doing these renderings
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
kudos to,
and for making the
Delane.
tripods also.
yeah, he made the
By the way.
tripods to make
Yeah,
it work.
he's-
good.
Oh,
He's
Wow.
his efforts have been really excellent for this whole project.
right.
Then the third display opportunity is at the Strawberry Festival at the
United Church.
United Church, and that is happening on 6/21. So we have some time.
Yeah, we
We
should have
should-
another meeting before
We
then.
should have another meeting before then to discuss,
June 18th, yep.
yeah, 6/21. So we can make arrangements
day.
in June for somebody to take it, but that's, I dealt with Laura Ranker, and she said she was happy to have these items there. And that lasts from 1 until 4.
Okay.
So that will require a commitment from people to be there to talk about it with people on 6/21. So let's leave that till June, okay?
But
So-
people should be thinking about whether they can help out with that, so.
Yeah.
Where is
Spread
the
that
Strawberry
word.
Festival?
At the United Church?
The Clock
Sorry, I
Church,
just said that, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
And what was the date
Clock
again?
Church.
6/21.
6/21, okay.
The longest
'Cause
day.
I know we'll be going to the Strawberry Festival, so I know I could stand there for an hour or two.
Well, here's a question too. This coming weekend is the, what's it called? Open studio?
Yeah.
So I mean, I could ask anybody that I can maybe take those to their house, or anybody have an open studio?
Sure, absolutely.
I bet Peter Evans would take them.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
Yeah, Peter would take.
Peter's been
Okay.
gonna be on board with this project, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
okay.
I mean, I haven't talked to him or anything, but
I can email him.
you know it, good.
The dam removal is not out to bid yet.
Okay,
It is not out to bid yet.
well, given the chain of
So
the telephone.
maybe that
being
was
made,
about something else.
distorted. Yeah,
No, it's not about something else. This is
Oh.
just another example of what happens.
Many, many different actors working on one thing.
passing information.
Yeah.
That's why I referred to the telephone game.
Well, I used my telephone to contact the project manager and she says it's not out to bid.
That's great, that's great. Having good communications and knowing the right people to call, that's wonderful.
The project manager at the state level?
No, Karina Daly
Yeah.
at Vermont Natural Resources Council.
Yeah, Karina.
Yeah,
And she says it's not out to bid yet.
right.
Live and learn.
Well,
And
That
who
happened.
takes the next step on, who takes the next step on that?
Karina is
Yeah,
the
okay.
project manager,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Carolyn,
yes,
what were you starting to say?
I said that happens sometimes, that things are supposed to get done and they don't get done.
Yes.
It's a super complicated project, and we've all had a lot of difficulty this year because all of the in-river work has to be permitted by 4 people. There are only 4 people for the entire state of Vermont to review
And there's
all the
7.
in-river work, and
There's
they.
a whole bunch of rivers.
And all the flooding, they have
Right.
to approve all the flood response work.
Right.
And so they just shut down and did only flood response all last fall. So all the projects that should have been in permitting last fall couldn't get reviewed. And they only started re-reviewing projects in January, and then they shut it back down again when the field season started, because they've got to get back out in the field. So it's been very difficult to get projects reviewed,
Okay.
and that
Yeah.
is part of the situation.
Okay, so let's moving on to, it's 7:18 already. Sorry. Moving on to new business, we just reviewed, everybody's passed around the path proposed by transportation-oriented design visioning people. Yes, take all
Is
the.
this a new plan?
Yes, this is not the plan that was originally, this is why I wish you were here, Carolyn. Because this is not the path that was originally,
Proposed by Northfield Community Development
yeah, it was,
Network.
it's not the path originally proposed by Northfield Community Development. But
Right.
Carolyn, it is a good path, and if you look in John's stuff, he got this visioning thing.
Yes, I saw it this afternoon. I was
Okay,
reading it
it's
this
on-
afternoon.
It's on page 36.
I don't have it in front of me. I will
No.
look.
text it?
I mentioned to Jeff Farrell, to Jeffrey Farrell,
Yeah,
that the route, the path that was laid out by our wetlands consultants is not the same path as they have there. And he said it wouldn't make any difference because that what they have there was just an idea. It was not a
Yeah.
final proposal.
Well, we're gonna need that
They can
path.
change that. What?
We're gonna need the path that the wetlands consultant did.
Okay,
We're
I'll
gonna
dig it
need
up.
that.
Who's the wetlands consultant?
Patty Lewis.
Patty Lewis, okay.
Different than Emily.
And was that in the same section as this, or is it in a different
Yes.
place?
It's in a different place entirely.
Uh-huh.
This is an alternative that was brought up as part of transportation-oriented design, which was done by the planning commission.
Yeah.
Regional Planning Commission, yeah.
Carolyn, I'm guessing I know where the wetland consultant's path is.
Where is it?
I mean, is this over there on that, the opposite side of the river from the Dog River Park?
No, this,
Not that stuff?
yeah, that was
It's
the
on, it's
original.
on the south
assessment
side of the
plan.
river. And she proposed it, there along behind the senior housing. That was one section.
Right.
And then there was
Right.
the section that went from the pedestrian bridge around to the railroad. But it kind of follows the contours of that slope and of that green area in there that's a little bit woodsy. And
Yeah.
it wasn't as close to the river as I would have thought, but she was concerned about it being a little bit wet toward the river because there's all that knotweed there in that section.
Well, I guess if she saw it in person, that's what really counts. But there is a brand new wetlands map.
No. A state wetlands map.
What's the new wetlands map look like?
Is it on the atlas?
But there's nothing shown in the vicinity of the walk.
That's good.
Well, if that's the case, then that's good. I don't think that her proposed path was cast in stone. I think it was a response to the vegetation that was there naturally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it came around to the railroad.
So are we saying that the river, like section D is kind of it's not permanent? The decision where it's gonna be is not permanent, or? Cause I'm
Section
hearing y'all
D.
say there's different.
Well, we're
We're really
not
not-
even talking about section D
Oh,
right now.
okay.
This is
This is
the other,
A and
the
B.
ARC, right,
C.
right,
We're talking about section B.
yeah.
Okay.
B
Yeah,
as in
it's
boy.
section B, which is, yeah, tell me if I'm right about this. Section A kind of runs from Wall Street and to roughly where the pedestrian bridge is.
Yes.
Okay, then section B runs from the pedestrian bridge around the back. And then I think of
Around the
section
bend of the
C
river.
basically as going away from the river and up and across and back down through the common area and through the town stuff, which I think is important. And then it comes to out on D and ends up there. So, and there would be shortcuts because people would get as far as the town, the pedestrian bridge, and then they'd come that way. And then they'd be crossing at Fernandes, but we can't tell them not to do that unless we stop having a road there.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But it's what I'm saying, I guess it sounds like it's a work in progress. It's
Exactly.
section
where
A,
it's
B,
gonna-
and C are not, even though they're not built yet, it's not 100% sure of the exact path it's gonna take.
We're not
Right, we have
100%
not
sure.
developed that.
And then there are some questions about who owns how much can we put, how close can we get to the river without messing up because of the
Okay.
flood stage and so forth.
Okay, got it.
Well, on that side of the river, Mary, there's very
Yeah.
little risk of flooding.
Yeah, it's more on the other side.
Right,
Because
Yes,
it's on the outside of the turn.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
right.
So we've come to the part of the meeting that I personally like the best. The reports from the field, which is the updates from other committees, projects, et cetera, which is how we found out that Tim was making picnic tables that we could use, you know? So this is why this is the part of the thing that I like the best. So. What else? We don't have very many people here. These are, so we don't have a lot of reports.
Well, can I suggest, Michelle, is there anything else you want to give us for information or questions that you have for us? I think we've got some great ideas about how your group can help to advise us and help us design communication stuff.
And just generally spend time supporting you through the process.
Great. Because this is the first project I've ever done by a river,
Yeah.
so I certainly don't, I think we could use the help.
I think so.
We,
You know,
we
when we
spend
get
some
into the
time with
details.
rivers, yeah.
Exactly, oh yeah, I know you do.
And the, one nice thing about this project is that, the folks we're working with in Winooski asked if we could bring together the three communities for, occasional, information.
Cross-fertilization.
Yeah, and we had the first of those meetings, I wanna say in February, and it was great.
Who came from Northfield?
David Mears
Oh,
came
good.
from Northfield, yep.
Okay.
But y'all are welcome to be part of that as well.
Well, I don't think we
so.
do.
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't
the
think
first I
so
heard of it,
either,
yeah.
cause we just were connected at that point with the Conservation Commission.
Right.
But now that we are
Put us on the
connected
list.
with you guys.
Yeah. Wasn't, good on you for coming over here.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll get it figured out.
That was useful. And one of the people that, I wanna put this little bug in your ear too. One of the, you need to be talking to Norwich University also. I don't know how we're gonna do that, or I don't have an idea in my head, but I know that Norwich is a big player in this town.
And they own a lot of riverfront.
Right,
And they own a lot of riverfront.
They own a lot of knotweed.
Yeah, they do.
You know, Tim and I wore ourselves out today digging up chervil.
Oh, yeah,
And I think
starting to flower.
yeah.
it's like this spot of land, it's like the chervil's coming this way and the knotweed is coming this way, and it's like,
Yeah.
We're scared of the explosion if they collide.
Well, tomorrow, so one thing that we are doing, in Winooski, tomorrow, Taylor organized a big weed pool at their, the park that they asked us for help with is overrun with every possible invasive. Lots of multiflora rose, lots of,
That's nasty stuff, I hear.
it really is.
It's got more thorns than nuts.
oh, that's the stuff that rips your flesh.
Yes, and honeysuckle and bittersweet and garlic mustard, and so they have a big crew of AmeriCorps members and other
Well,
folks
there's still
coming.
a shred of AmeriCorps left.
Well, it actually got canceled. And then there was a court decision that stayed the
Yes.
cancellation, and now they're able to do the project tomorrow.
Yeah, but
So-
this year the
Yeah.
Oafs in Washington are working hard to make it the last.
Yeah,
It's just
it's unbelievable, yeah, cause
such a good thing.
for
Oh,
so,
I'm
so,
sorry.
and so inexpensive. The any problem with AmeriCorps was not how much it cost. That was,
I'm
Sad.
not gonna get started.
Yes, let's
but
not.
anyhow, yes,
Keep hyper focused locally and then we,
Do what we can.
so one thing we've done is, as part of this is organize an invasives management thing, which is partly like, we're not gonna beat those plants in that park, but partly it's an opportunity to educate folks about identifying the plants, about why they're a problem, about, you know, when you remove them, how you remove them, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I know that that's works because I wouldn't be out there digging those dang things today if I hadn't gone to the thing where Simon Parrish was talking about, knotweed and various different ways to get, and I was like, oh, I guess I better get on it.
Yeah.
With the knotweed.
Well, it's great. You guys have a lot of amazing resources in the community.
We are
That's great.
extremely lucky about that.
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
And a lot of public spirited people that volunteer a lot of time in this community. It seems normal to me because I've been living here quite a while. But it's,
Can I have one of these? Where are these?
Ken probably has them.
Yeah,
No, I don't know how many there were.
I don't know, I was gonna ask if there's a PDF available of this
yeah.
on the town
Probably.
website.
I
That'd
think
be
they're
the first
available
place.
on the website.
Okay.
Cause I was sent a link just to, just the transit plan,
Yeah,
but I had not seen this, tonight's the first time I've seen this.
yeah, actually,
I
there's a,
think
now that I
Farrell
think,
said
now
the
that I think,
board had it posted.
now that I think about it, there's a flyer under my couch right now that's got the link. Saw it when I was,
There you
saw it when I was
go.
sweeping today.
Give that to Mary, Simon's gonna
sorry.
walk off with it, I
Oh.
guess.
I love
Well,
it.
I'm sitting here wondering, do I want him to have it? But
No,
I want
yeah,
the-
you know, you keep it and
I
get,
need
and make
this,
more,
I
make
think,
more
because
people want it.
there's more people did you see this stuff about Central Street?
Yeah,
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
that beautiful?
yeah,
so
But
all
we just
kinds
gotta
of
figure out how to plant the
yeah,
15-year-old trees.
it's exciting.
The new train station is pretty cool.
It's so pretty,
Yeah.
I'm like, we
I haven't
What
seen
did
it.
he knock
Do
on
it the train station.
New train station,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
at
with,
the engine house.
with like, it looks like apartments around it.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
oh,
was,
yeah,
that
that
was
whole
when
area.
they all smoked and then they decided, no, let's do this.
Yeah,
They're showing us possibilities.
yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not expecting it to happen in my lifetime necessarily, but
Well,
It's something to work toward.
and
Yes,
it was
exactly.
like, suddenly we have cooperative landowners that are letting all this happen, and it was like,
Well, he made
a
a
couple of
case.
times I had to bite my tongue so hard,
Yeah, well,
because, you know, and that train station was wonderful. It's like, right, because the train's gonna stop and
well,
she's
Tom
gonna sell
Davis
the
thinks
land.
that's gonna happen.
Good night, everybody.
Yes.
All right,
Good, this meeting, no, we have to have a motion. Does anybody wanna move to close this meeting?
Michelle moved out the door.
Yes,
Does that
she
count?
did.
Michelle.
Michelle, leave that thing here.
It's good.
No, don't do that.
It's gonna go in Delaine's car.
I
Thank
don't
you,
have
sir.
the right to make a motion.
Okay,
You don't have the right to make a.
Delane made the motion, I'll second.
Okay, this was the other way around. Delane made the
Yes.
motion and Tim seconded, and all of it was approved, the end.
Okay,
Good night.
Turn it off.
Simon, thanks for
Good
coming.
night.
Great to have you here.
Good night and enjoy your family with you. And see,
Thank
maybe
you.
safe.
Oh, we have the happiest news, Mary.
What?
Now that the meeting is adjourned, and Shanann, you'd be interested in this too. And Elaine, our youngest son, who's been married 5 or 6 years, and
Yeah.
they're pregnant.
No, she's pregnant, they're expecting. Don't,
They're
don't say
expecting.
that.
They're
Yeah.
expecting, but she's
And
pregnant.
when he gets hemorrhoids and he gets prolapses of this and that, you can tell me that they are pregnant, but right now I know who's pregnant.
They are
I
so
think Mary's fine with being on the record.
they are so cute and so just excited.
What?
And
We're still recording all this.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Congratulations, and I hope
Good
you
night.
enjoy that, and I hope that everything goes well
Yeah.
for them. When is this baby due?
October.
October, very nice,
Yeah.
very
So they're
nice.
past the worst danger period,
Yeah, well
by
then,
my math,
well,
First danger
it
period.
happened to me, so
the worst danger period.
my one of mine. How do we, turn this off?
Are the,
Good night,
there's a,
everybody.
Good
yes.
night, I see an end.
Right.
Good night, y'all.
Good
Be
night.
safe, Janine, coming home.
I got my back, so.
And